Hello there everybody and warm welcome to my channel, Tarot by Izabela. I hope you're all doing fine and I'm very happy to see you here. Today's video will be a highlight video for Australia and New Zealand. And to do this video I'm going to use my crystal ball, some oracle cards, tarot cards and dice. But before we begin, I just want to thank you all, wonderful viewers, for all of your support, for your wonderful mails, for your comments, for your sharing, for your caring. You are just so lovely and wonderful people. And without you, there would not be any channel. And it gives a lot of strength to continue doing more videos. I am sorry if I cannot do all the countries you request, because there are so many countries. Some of those countries I have already done a reading on, so it could be a good idea that you maybe scroll down the video list, and it's a big possibility you could find your country there, even if the time frames are off. But don't take too much attention to the time frames, because when a vision is very strong, it has a big possibility to occur, what I'm talking about, even if it's off that time frame. And time is very difficult to predict on. Sometimes things are happening around that make this vision or this scene that I see come a little bit further in time than that time frame that it stands on. But many of those videos could still be up to date. So before you ask for country, there is a big possibility that maybe your country is already done. And the highlights video I do mostly because there's so much going on in our world right now, and some of those key countries could be good to see some highlights. But I will try to take other countries with also in highlights video, but I cannot promise that your specific country will come. Well, let's start then with this highlight video for Australia and New Zealand. And before we begin, I just need to concentrate for a few moments on my crystal ball and ask the powers, the forces, to be with us so we can get some good and accurate information. And when the information comes, it could be something I see, feel, taste, smell, hear. So whatever comes to me, I will pass it further to you. So don't let us waste any time, and let's start. For Australia and New Zealand. Okay, glasses on, and let's see what the crystal ball have to say. The first thing I see, and this is for Australia, in some very dry areas, I see a big sandstorm is coming up. And it's a very big sandstorm, worth mentioning. And it will cover a lot of area, a big place of Australia. And people have to stay at home, be in some kind of shelter when that storm passes by. And talking about storm, this was a literal storm, but it will also be a symbolical storm that sweeps over Australia and really like shakes people up, and this is the storm of truth. the following months to come, I see number 75, and that is the amount. 75% of Australians will have to wake up to the truth, what is going on in the world. And it will be quite, for some, it will be quite a brutal awakening when you have lived so many years in a lie and suddenly you recognize that. And but there comes the good people, and they will be there as a support and help these people that are like in a shock. Then we have those that will not wake up. It doesn't matter how much proof, how much things are put on black and white. There will be about 25% of people that will deny anything that is not what they think is right, even if it's totally not. Mm-hmm. There will be more of kind of unification of Australia. It's a big country, like it's a continent, and we forget how big Australia is. But doesn't matter from north, south, east, west, or center. I see the people coming together for a common goal, and that is to unify the country and stay strong against anyone or anything that wish to control them. Symbolically, those politicians that have put themselves on very high horses, it seems like those horses they are sitting on, symbolical horses, will throw them out. And they will fall to the ground and symbolically break every bone in their body. Meaning, those who have enjoyed that power kick of suppressing the people of Australia, they will not be able to suppress anymore. Literally, their shoes will burn, and there will not be no place where they can go. Since Australia is such a big country with a lot of people, even if in the center there are not so many more around big cities, around the coast areas, I see like in 5 parts of Australia there will be some kind of tribunals for those who have committed extreme crimes against humanity the last years. People will be in very much shock. I get the feeling, not the north coast, but it could be northwest coast of Australia, some place there in the ocean. It will be like a big gathering of sharks that have never been seen before. I see thousands of sharks in a very small area. And well, sometimes sharks do migrate to different places, and there are a lot of them. But this is something totally different. It's like also the nature is showing that something is cooking, something is coming up. All this digital ID, passport, this kind of passport and so on, I see them like being torn apart and set on fire. So Even if it looks quite dark in that area at the moment, there will be a lot of changes. And it's always the darkest before the sun rises. And goes also for Australia. The Aborigines, the first people of Australia, they will be put in power in many places. And their culture and their knowledge of the land will have a reawakening, rebirth. And I see many people, true people, that really cares for the land, for the country, for the earth, for the animals. I see a couple of them on high post, political post. It will be big changes in the politics in Australia. It will come out some antidote to this, since a lot of people were coerced to take this in Australia, and they really didn't want to. And those will be like first in line to get help to reverse whatever has been put into their bodies. In Australia, they're gonna find some kind of entrance. Could be a big cave or some kind of ancient civilization beneath Earth. It's like some people already know about this, but it's hidden for the public. But this will also come up, and people will get quite angry why this was hidden from them. And about the news stations and the reporters and journalists and those who are reading the news, I see all of them like changed, new faces, new faces, new faces. It's said that the Tasmanian tiger is extinct. There is no left, but they're gonna find a couple of them alive. And that will also be some quite shocking news. Many new rules for the public will be written, but that there are not rules of dictatorship. There are more rules of freedom. So changes also in the way to live for the better of the people of Australia. As I said, these are a highlight video. Exactly when this happened, I cannot say. But I see very happy, very calm, very, at least finally now we can leave faces on the people. Even, this is so strange, even in the truth about this and what he's doing, what he has done to the people, and it will not be promoted, still Among those 25% that will not wake up, they will ask for another booster. Strange. There will be a UFO landing on a remote place in Australia. And for the beautiful country of New Zealand, there will come a lot of reforms regarding nature, forests and pure areas. It's like to save those forests and those lands. So there will come out many rules. You cannot do this, you cannot, or chop down trees or whatever. A lot of preservation of the nature. And the people will agree on that. As in every country around the world where there is a lot of corruption, a big cleansing will also happen in New Zealand. And the proud Maori people, they will rise again. The spirit will rise again. All the problems that have been for many years, and that will vanish. And they will cherish more the ancient cultures and traditions. There will be a more understanding between the people in New Zealand. A lot of tears of regret, unfortunately, that we have believed this, we have done this. But when a regret is pure and comes from the heart, forgiveness will be given. New Zealand, I see. I'm not sure if they're the last country or one of the first countries that will change their tax laws to extremely low taxes for the people. The sea level outside could be northwest coast. It seems like it could be some kind of earthquake. Something happens. It will rise, and they will find remains of like old civilization that people never thought was possible. The current leader of New Zealand, something will happen to him. I see his face and body all in bruises. I don't know if there will be an attack, literal attack or symbolical attack on him. I see him like without power, without anything, dressed in rags. He will lose everything. Big scandals around churches in New Zealand. And there could be a couple of churches that will burn down because of this. what have been going on in those places. Some fishermen from New Zealand, they're gonna catch a fish. Could be a new species that have not been seen before, and it could be some kind of creature that it lives very hidden just in a one specific area, quite deep down in the water, and nobody have seen this kind of fish before. It's quite big, so it will be on the news, definitely. There will be more encouragement for people to grow their own crops and food, and the local markets will grow. People will say no to pesticides, GMOs, all this kind of artificial substances for the crops. There are a lot of knowledge, ancient knowledge, how to grow crops without pesticides, without fertilizers, this artificial fertilizers, and make the crops really blossom and triple in amount. And whatever happens in Australia, of course, it will be connected to New Zealand, and people will follow the news very closely. When the country U falls, and it's not far to that, a lot of shame will come over Australia and New Zealand and the people. How could we send our young people, young men and women, to fight in this conflict? So a lot of shaking up. Yeah. Well, that was what I could see in my crystal ball. Let's continue to the cards. Here. First I'm going to shuffle the tarot cards a little bit. And I'm going to put 5 cards first for Australia, with the oracle cards above, and then 5 cards for New Zealand, if there is any additional information to be said in this video. So let's take 5 cards for Australia. And above each of them I take an oracle card, or like this one, the normal game cards. So let's start with one there. And the last one here. And some dice. This was empty. Mhm. And the cards look like this. We have in the tarot cards Ace of Coins, Ace of Swords, Page of Wands, Temperance, and the Empress. And there we have, I don't know what this is, Knight of Hearts. Circuitous root perception. And here we have a picture of, looks like a high priestess with some fairies in a box, in a bowl. Enemy, religion. A flag, limbs, a lion, watching, and this is badminton, so like watching a game, and Eiffel Tower. Well, what to say about this for Australia? They will be flagged for the young people. Warnings: don't take this, don't take this, a lot of side effects. And that will come to a law. They must stop this. So they're gonna change the route. I told in my first video of Australia that they're gonna find or hit something like a big gold deposit in the ground, but that will belong to the Aborigines, the original people of Australia. And here comes again. They will find some very big gold fields, mining, whatever, and that will go to that community. No mining companies, no one single person will be able to put their hands on it. It will be shared among many. And that will give abundance to a lot of people, not just a few. There are a lot of myths in Australia, a lot of stories from ancient times. Those stories somehow will be revealed that they are, that they have true origin, that they are based on things that actually happened. The enemy, those that not wish well for the people, they are under observation. They are watching. It's like a game. They are watching what they're doing. And they will be, like praying for forgiveness, praying to higher powers. Oh no, we didn't mean that. But they will not be given any forgiveness to those people. Australia as a country will blossom, will flourish. Many areas in Australia that today is desert, nothing grows really there. It's like something will change, or with the climate, or I don't know exactly, but it will be so much greener, and the climate will be more balanced, not very, very hot and dry. It will be more balanced. And since Australia is so extremely big, the amounts of food and crops and everything that can be grown and cultivated on very healthy conditions. It's unbelievable. And it's there where Australia will go. So in the future, Australia will be a continent that will provide a lot of food, and they will be able to export extremely much, even to Europe or other countries. So it will be like, yeah, we have the religion here, so like a touch of a god and everything flourish. Well, that was for Australia. Let's take some cards for New Zealand then. Shuffle them a little bit. New Zealand. Some oracle cards. Gypsy card. And some lace. Oops. See what we got. The same card in the center. Okay. And the cards look like this. What do we have for New Zealand? We have Temperance again, 6 of coins, Page of Wands, 5 of swords, Ace of swords again here. Then we have 4 of hearts, integrity, compromise. We have a woman here that is obsessed with mirrors and her looks. Sadness and the signs of the zodiac. Then we have on the dice 2 swords that are fighting, a monkey, a lady's high heel shoe, a crown, and point. Well, what can we say about New Zealand? The people are getting more and more frustrated. They don't want to wait anymore for any improvement. It's like really boiling under the surface. Those people that are trying to bribe them in somehow, maybe, oh, if you do this, we give you this. And there are more and more disappointment. It's like they're not buying it anymore. And also in New Zealand, truth is coming out, real information is coming out, that the people in high position, like this woman, only likes to watch themselves and care for themselves. They don't really care anybody else. They are extremely selfish. And also in Australia, when the truth really comes out, it will cause a lot of sadness, but it will also give strength, because it's always better to live in a hard truth than in a sweet lie. It will give the strength to all kinds of people who have all the signs of the zodiac, so this and this and this for everybody. And the people in high position have been treating the subjects, you can call them, as monkeys. Like, yeah, they're just monkeys, they're not real people. Yeah. But the shoes will be lost on those people on high position. And the crown will fall down, because it's sadness above the crown. So there will not be anyone on high position. Everyone will be equal. Even though some people maybe will have some more responsibility or something like that, but not like you have to do what I told you. If not, you lose your bank account, or you lose this or that. No, that will stop. New rules will come. And I see some kind of calmness will lower over New Zealand, like the people finally can breathe. Now we can live. Now we can live off our work. If we work hard for the salary, we can really live good. We can buy a house, we can save money. There will be big changes. But first, some turbulent times. Some problems with a river in Australia, I get it. Or it will rise a lot, because I see more and more water than normal in that river. In some mountain area in New Zealand, they're gonna find a lot of crystals, quite precious crystals, a big amount of them. It's really, really extraordinary. Big, beautiful crystals, in mostly white crystal, like quartz crystal, but also different color. So it's like different colors in those big white ones. Some finding that will be extraordinary. Yeah. Okay, let's take some last cards for Australia and New Zealand. And now I'm just gonna take 3 cards for each country, if there are any last words to be said. So let's take last 3 cards for Australia. One, 2, and 3. Very beautiful cards. First we have 6 of Wands, 6 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Things are going to change a lot if in Australia. There will be going to turn around completely, like the Wheel of Fortune. It turns around from being very difficult to a period of achievement and success. The battle is won, and good times are coming. And more people will find Australia more attractive to visit or to move to. So be many different laws, many different possibilities for Australia is coming. And big changes. and some interference from other countries in Australia to make that change for the better. But I see a lot of people crying in shame in Australia. That time is coming. Now let's take some last 3 cards for New Zealand. The first cards we have Ace of Wands, 2 of Coins, and 2 of Swords. Good news are also coming to New Zealand. There will be some kind of balance in the financial area, so people will feel that they have more money in their pocket. But still, even if they will have more money, still a lot of people have difficulties to compromise. But they will find some kind of middle way to make almost everyone happy. There will be first big problems with the banks, and then things gonna settle down. And I also see a lot of people like moving out from the cities more into the countryside. Yeah, I need one more card for New Zealand. I need one extra card. Yeah, and this is Ace of Cups. So those people that are afraid, worried, that wants to argue, no, I don't, make problems, they're also gonna change because we have the Ace of Cups. So New Zealand will be so much more friendly and loving and welcoming country than have ever been. A lot of injustice, a lot of nasty crimes has been committed in New Zealand against the people, original people, but also those people that came a couple of 100 years ago, and so some kind of forgiveness. Some kind of forgiveness. Well, forgiveness more for those who have been asleep and suddenly wakes up and wants to make things better. Then not those who have known what they've been doing from the beginning. For those people, especially on high position, there will not be any forgiveness. I see many of them sent abroad with handcuffs, symbolically, or they're gonna be put in some kind of justice system, but not in New Zealand, in other countries. Well, that was my reading for Australia and New Zealand. And if you have liked what you have seen and heard, please don't forget to press like button, share button, and subscription button. And to all of you wonderful, loving, and beautiful people of Australia and New Zealand, wish you all the best. Be strong Try to follow your heart. Things are gonna change, even it's gonna be quite rough. Gonna try until the last drop of blood to control you, but that will change quite quickly, from bad to very good. And it will be shocking, both in a good way and bad way, for those who have been doing nasty stuff. So hang on there. Things look quite bright for you in the future. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Take care out there, and hopefully we're gonna see each other soon again. Bye bye.